Great. So like I said, my name is Jenna. I've been working with Holly and the team at the East Texas Communities Foundation to get your site built and running. And, we're really here to make your fundraising day a success. So to start here, I will pass it over to Holly, and she will give a little intro before we jump into the bulk of what we'll cover today.
Hi, everyone. I'm so glad you could join us today for this donations seminar. This is the tool that you guys will need to access your donor information as we move forward into our giving day for this year. There's a couple of key things that I want you all to be aware of. Number one, pre-scheduled gifts start April 10th. I encourage you to tell your donor base that they can go onto the site, find your profile, and go ahead and commit their gift, log in their credit card information, commit their gift to your organization starting April 10th. The key thing about that, guys, is that this year we will be awarding a prize for the most money raised during the pre-scheduled giving time. Again, that's April 10th through the kickoff on April 25th of Gives Day at 6 a.m. So the organization that raises the most money between that time frame on pre-scheduled gifts is going to receive an extra $1,000 bonus prize. So that's a pretty exciting news for you guys. Also, on the week of April 17th, I will be emailing to everyone the complete list of this year's prizes for Giving Day. So those are the two major things I want you all to know. We are 27 days until the big event. So this is the active time to start your campaigning. I'm going to turn it back over to Jenna, but you guys are welcome to call me at the office or email me if you have any questions about the prizes or about the pre-scheduled prize that we have. Again, that's $1,000. So I hope you all go out and make a big score. So anyway, Jenna, back to you.
Great. Thank you so much.
Sure.
So a couple sort of housekeeping things as we think about this webinar. First, we will have time for Q&A at the end. So all of the participants are muted right now, but there is a chat function using Join Me. So if you want to just please make note of your questions, and then we'll certainly have time to walk through all of those as they come in at the end. Then, to sort of give you an idea of what we'll be going over today, I'm going to be showing you a couple things. First, what the actual donation form looks like. So when a donor goes on the site and they click that they want to give to your organization, I'll give you a sort of screenshot of what that will look like for them. And then going over to the administrative side, I'll show you what it will look like when you start getting those pre-scheduled donations and where you'll be able to see that information through your administrative portal. And then similarly, we'll sort of log back out and log back in, and we'll show you what it'll look like on the actual Gives Day. So on the Gives Day, there will be somewhat limited access in terms of what you can do. So when you sign in on the Gives Day, you will be directed sort of right to one landing page, and that's just going to show all of your donation history for that day. And we do that for a number of reasons to restrict access to the administrative portal, and that's primarily to help just cut down on requests that we're asking through the system and really make it streamlined and sort of really manageable and controllable from our standpoint. And then after the day, of course, we can work with the foundation to develop any sort of ongoing functionality or access that you might have. So that being said, let me jump over here. So I'm thinking I'll show you the donation form, and then I'll show you how that information will translate into the administrative side and how you'll see it. So I have created an example organization 123. So when I go to that nonprofit profile page and I click the Donate Now button, it brings me to this cart form, and so to this donation form. And I just want to point out a couple of things here. First, if you've decided to use donation levels, which is one of the tabs in your organization profile, something that you can control, If you've decided to use those, here is kind of an example of how they'll show on the donation form. So if you had 4 of them, of course, they would be 1, 2, 3, 4, so kind of in 2 columns. And then this other amount, a donor can always have the option to select an amount other than those donation levels. So again, to reiterate, those are just recommendations or sort of suggested donation levels from you if you choose to use them. 2 other things about donations. The foundation has set 2 things. One is that a $50 donation will sort of default in here. So if someone comes to the donation page and they don't make any changes before submitting their donation, it defaults to a $50 donation. And sort of on the contrary, there is a $20 minimum donation. And that is, again, system-wide. So that's for all organizations. And I'll go ahead and pretend like I'm trying to put in a $10 donation. And you'll see this sort of alert button or this alert icon come up, and it sort of instructs the donor that amount must be greater than or equal to $20. So that's a couple things to call out here. On the Gives Day, obviously the donation will be being made today. And then there's a couple other custom questions that will be available for every single donation that comes through the system. So the donor will be able to indicate whether they're a first-time donor, if they want their donation to be anonymous, whether or not they'd like to cover the fees, the sort of transaction fees associated with their donation. And then they can also specify if their donation is in honor of someone or in memory of someone. And then they would simply click Add to Cart. Following that process, you're simply, whoops, and I won't go into too much detail here. But the donor will have the opportunity to add additional nonprofits to their cart. So you can make a donation to, say, 3, 4, 5 different organizations at once, or you could simply continue to check out with the one donation that you've made. So I did just want to sort of start there with the donation form to kind of give you a sense of what the donor will see, and then, of course, how that information will translate for you into the administrative portal. So that being said, jumping over to the administrative portal, when you first log in, you'll land here on the dashboard page. But again, something you're probably familiar with filling out your profile so far is that you'll click over here into organizations. And then here in this donation information tab, this is where that transaction information will be visible for you. So if we click in here to donation information, the first page that it comes to is process donations. But what you'll be concerned about for the scheduled period, which again is starting April 10th and will run right into the Gives Day. So you can schedule your donation anytime up until midnight, or excuse me, it may be midnight. We'll just say the 25th. But all of the scheduled donations that you have or that individuals have scheduled for your organization, they will all show here in the Scheduled Donations for Gives Day tab. So I've input test donation to kind of give you a sense of how this will look. But again, you'll see the total amount of the donation. So in this instance, we have a $50 donation and the individual opted to cover the fees. The specified percentage or flat fee of what that cover fees will be is going to be finalized very soon. But essentially, that is why there might not be specific, whole dollar amounts or things like that for this amount. But here you'll see anonymous. No, this person did not want to make an anonymous donation. So anonymous, as well as cover fees and first-time donor. So all of those pieces of information will just show you a yes or no. So if the person chose to be anonymous, obviously this would be yes. And then the billing name, email, and that identifying information would show as blank. This also shows the date that the donation will be run. So for all of these pre-scheduled donations, essentially they will all be run on the 25th. So maybe to give a little bit more information about exactly what pre-scheduled means, you may already be well aware, but pre-scheduling a donation essentially just queues it up to run on the 25th. So if I were to go in on April 10th and schedule my donation, I will not be charged until the 25th. So this is really just a queue for these donations and a way for you to sort of build momentum going into your day. So all of these will say the 25th in terms of the date they will be run. And then, of course, if we had input any sort of name or organization or anything that it would be this particular donation was in honor of or in memory of, those items would show here. There is, I guess, a couple other things to note on this page. When you are searching for a donation, you can search by the billing last name or the email. And that's, of course, if the donor opted to not be anonymous. If they're anonymous, those fields would be blank, but you are able to get the date that the person scheduled the donation. So the entered date is the date at which the system has received the notification that they're scheduling their donation. So for example, I put this one in today. So if I were to search by today, it will show up. If I were to try to search for donations that maybe came in on April 10th, obviously no results would come in because no one has initiated any scheduled donations on the 12th so far. You can also adjust dates, any donations that have come in before a certain date, before and including any certain date. Similarly, after and including a certain date, and also between a couple certain dates. So essentially, you could look at donations that came in between 3 days before and the Gives Day, and you can adjust and sort of search this list there. Another thing, or I guess two other things I'll point out on this page, and this sort of goes for all of the pages, is this export button right here. So whatever information is showing in this list at any given time, that is what will be exported into Excel for you. So if you did want to search this by date and then you exported, it would, keep those filters on the information that you export. So that is sort of the high level of where the pre-scheduled donations will live. And then once your day hits, these scheduled donations will drop from this list once they are run because they're no longer scheduled. At that point, they will be technically fully transacted. So those will move into the process donations. So I do have what it will look like for the process donations as well. Similarly, there's transaction date and time when that donation actually fully went through. Whether or not the person is anonymous, again, donor name, their billing information, whether or not they're first-time donor, in memory, in honor, and then also the cover fees. So that is sort of leading up to the Gives Day. You really won't have any thing in the process donations, so to speak, because you'll just have pre-scheduled. And then let me jump over to your Gives Day view. So on the Gives Day itself, like I had mentioned before, there is a little bit more restricted view for you, and that is just for sort of control and maintenance purposes on our end. But I do have to log out and log back in, so bear with me for one moment. Okay. So as you can see, so again, I'm logged in as my example organization. So on the Gives Day, your view will look exactly like this. So again, you'll see all of the information, but you'll see that you no longer will have access on that day to the dashboard or your organization profile or kind of anything like that. So it is a little bit of a stripped down version. Still the opportunity for you to export all of this information into Excel. So if you click that button, it will download the Excel file for you here. But more or less, this is just an opportunity, the opportunity for you to see the donations as they come in. This list will update in real time. However, to sort of load those updates, you'll just need to refresh. So you can either click this button, right click, reload the page, and as the donations come in, they will populate in this list in real time. They will also, the donations will list with the most recent one on top, so sort of in descending order. But you're also able to click any of these headers if you need to quick sort by anything. So maybe, you want all of the cover fees at the top. You could do that by clicking this button and it'll sort of, alternate those lists. But more or less, that is sort of, the bulk of how you'll view and export the data that you'll need to work with for each of your internal processes. I believe that it may be a super quick webinar today, but I would like to, Holly, if you have anything else to add, certainly jump in, and then we can open it up for Q&A.
No, I don't have anything extra to add. I think that was a quick, good demo.
Great. So for all the nonprofits out there, there should be a little chat button, kind of like a text bubble. If you have any questions, please do shoot them over. I'm happy to work through anything you might have off the top of your head. And of course, like Holly said, if questions come up in the coming days and weeks, feel free to reach out to her via phone or email, and we can also address them that way. So I'll give it a minute or so.
So I'll go ahead and say that whenever the recording is through, I will put this up on YouTube and have it available on the resource page of EastTexasGivingDay.org. I will also send out a reminder to all you participants that the video is back up so that you can access it at any time. In the meantime, like Jenna said, if you do have any questions, you can contact me via email or by phone at 903-533-0208 or toll-free 866-533-3823. That was my infomercial.
Great. I thought it was pretty good. So it doesn't look like we have any immediate questions coming in now, so we can wrap up. I'm sure this has been reiterated before, but on behalf of myself and of Civicor and the East Texas Communities Foundation, thank you so much for participating. The work you do is really important, and we're really, really happy to be able to support you and help your organizations do even better work. And also, thank you for your patience and your flexibility in helping us get this new platform off the ground. We're really here to not only, make your day run well, but really make it a success. And, anything we can do to make that more, successful or, easier for you, we're all ears for things like that. So thank you so much. Again, the recording will be made available, and thank you for your time today.
Thanks.